reading lesson with Miss Meadows. I'm so excited to be reading with you today, and we are reading a brand new story that is a read aloud, so you are not going to need your My Book today, just your listening ears ready to learn. But we're going to start with our vocabulary. So our first word is cab. Can you say cab? Very good. Cab is a noun or a person, place, or thing word. The cab is the part of where the driver sits in a car, truck, or another thing. So this truck has a red cab. This part up front right here where the driver sits is called the cab. Back here would not be the cab, but this is the cab where the driver sits. The next word is instant. Can you say instant? Very good. Instant is an adverb. If you do something this instant, you do it right now. So the girl must clean up the milk this instant or it will spill on the floor. If she waits and does it in a little while, it might trickle off the table and spill on the floor, which means she needs to clean it this instant or right now. The next word is instructor. Say instructor. Very good. Instructor is a noun or a person, place, or thing word. An instructor is a person who teaches you how to do things. So, for example, the instructor shows the students here the correct position. This guy is the instructor, and he is showing or instructing these kids on how to do this position. He's like a teacher. The next word is altitude. Say altitude. Altitude or altitude, whichever you would like, is a noun or person, place, or thing. Altitude is how high something is above the ground or sea. So the altitude of a mountain is measured by how high it is above sea level. The next word is dream. Say dream. Very good. Dream is a noun or a person, place, or thing word. A dream is something you really hope will happen. So this girl's dream is to be a professional race car driver when she grows up. That's something she really, really hopes would happen. And we've talked a little bit about dreams in our writing unit of things that we really, really wish would happen in our future. And our last word is bounds. Say bounds. Very good. Bounds is a noun or a person, place, or thing word. If there are no bounds, you can do anything you want to do. So there are no bounds to the fun you can have at the park, which means you can do anything you would like to do at the park, and there aren't really big rules that say that you can't have fun. There are no bounds or rules. Very good. Moving forward, our anchor chart today is on text organization. Can you say text organization? Very good. And specifically today we are talking about chronological order. Now, informational texts, which means they are texts that teach you something or are based on a real life thing, have a structure or type of organization that fits the topic and the author's purpose. Texts that are organized by chronological order tell about events in order of when they actually happened. So they can also explain the steps to make or do something. So we're going to look for numbers or clue words to understand order. So we're going to look for first, and then next or then, and then finally or last. And they tell the story in this order so that it's easier for us to understand how it actually happened. And our story today is called I'm Amelia Earhart, and it's by Brad Meltzer, and it's illustrated by Christopher Eliopoulos. And Amelia Earhart is a real person who really existed, and someone is writing this story. Brad Meltzer wrote this story to teach you about who she was. And based off of our picture, it looks like Amelia Earhart is someone who's maybe interested in planes or flying or maybe being a pilot. And you're going to learn a little bit about Amelia Earhart and what she did by listening to this story. I am Amelia Earhart. I am Amelia Earhart. So that's our main character, Amelia Earhart, right here in this picture. It says, I am Amelia Earhart. And we can also see that this story is told in first person point of view because we have that word I. So our character is in the story. Our main character and our narrator is in the story. When I was little, people told me that girls should wear dresses and play with dolls. They said we shouldn't have unladylike adventures. I didn't agree. So she's turning and going, but she does not want to be playing with dolls and wearing dresses. She wants to do other things, which some girls might like to wear dresses and play with dolls, and some girls might not want to, and both are okay. In fact, when I was 7 years old, my sister and I decided to build our own roller coaster in our backyard. We placed 2 planks of wood up against the side of our tool shed. This girl saying, "Grandma's not gonna like this." The cab was a wooden packing box with roller skate wheels attached to the bottom. We greased the wood with lard so we'd move super fast. "Amelia, are you sure this is a good idea?" "This isn't a good idea. It's the best idea." So they greased it with lard. Do you know what lard is? Lard is kind of similar to butter. It's a very greasy, slimy substance that you put on something that makes it slippery. I wonder what they're going to do. Of course, I got to ride first. This was my moment. Here we go in 3, 2. Oh my goodness, she's going to ride down those planks and see what happens. Do you think she's going to get hurt? I don't know. I still remember the wind in my face. My stomach seemed to sink. I was flying. The crash was loud and noisy and messy. It certainly wasn't ladylike, but it was awesome. She says, "That was awesome." And I see we've got this text feature here that I wouldn't read this like, "That was awesome." I read it, "That was awesome," because it's in such big font. And then here we have Amelia Earhart, "Take this apart this instant." Is she happy or mad? She's very mad at her for doing that. It wasn't the last time I would fly. As I got older, I went to many air shows. When I was 23 years old, but still a kid at heart, my dad took me to meet Frank Hawks, a man who would eventually set many of his own flight records. You ready? I'm ready. For $10, Hawks agreed to take me on my very first flight. For 10 minutes, we flew through the sky and out over the Pacific Ocean. By the time I was 200 or 300 feet off the ground, I knew one thing. I had to fly. To save for my flying lessons, I worked as a truck driver, which wasn't ladylike either. Move it, Mac! A stenographer, which is a fancy schmancy word for someone who writes down what people say. And even a photographer. Say snook. 6 months after I learned how to fly, I bought a bright yellow used biplane that I named Canary. Canary's a cool name for a plane, right? And this is my instructor, a woman named Netta Snook. That's her real name. But here's my secret. I wasn't a natural. I wasn't the best pilot. I just worked harder than anyone else. That's enough flying for today. No, I can do better. One more flight. So she wasn't the best pilot. She just really, really cared about it, so she practiced a lot. Most important, like that day on the roller coaster, I dared to do what so many said couldn't be done. A girl flying across the Atlantic? Amelia, you sure this is a good idea? This isn't a good idea. It's the best idea. So I became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean, and then the first woman to fly by myself across the Atlantic. Back then, people took boats to get to Europe, sailing for weeks. Planes were still a new thing. In fact, on the day I took off, one magazine ran an article that said women would never be able to fly that far. But I did. And to do it, I had to fly for 14 hours and 56 minutes with no rest, no break. Sometimes the sun was so blinding I could barely see where I was going. In the process, I also broke the record for crossing the ocean in the shortest time, doing it faster than any man or woman ever. In October of 1922, I broke the women's altitude record by rising to 14,000 feet. And in July of 1930, I set a speed record of over 181 miles per hour. Then I broke an altitude record, which is just a fancy schmancy way of saying I went higher than anyone else. How high did I go? About 12 Empire State Buildings straight up at a time when no woman had ever gone that high. In my life, I took many flights, and every single time there was someone who said I wouldn't be able to do it. Never let anyone stop you. Whatever your dream is, chase it. Work hard for it. You will find it. It is the best lesson I can give you. I am Amelia Earhart. I know no bounds, and I hope you'll remember that the greatest flight you'll ever take is the one no one has tried before. And then this end page is a real quote, and this is a real picture of Amelia Earhart. It says, "Never interrupt someone doing what you said couldn't be done." And that is Amelia. That's a real picture of what actual Amelia Earhart, the first ever woman pilot, looked like and who she really was. So what I would like you to do now is, now that you've heard that awesome story about Amelia Earhart and how she proved everyone wrong who said she couldn't be a pilot, but ended up becoming the first female or girl pilot, I want you to take that and I want you to think, what could your dream be? What is something you would like to do that maybe you think couldn't be done, or someone has said couldn't be done, but you think you could do it? And you can either tell me about that, make a video or a drawing or a story about that, or you can do any of our gem choices that you are interested in. But I loved this story. I hope you loved this story, and I can't wait to read again with you tomorrow. Have fun, friends.